Good morning. If you haven't already received this from the back, this is announcements and some things to note. We're not having a Christmas service. We're having a Christmas Eve candlelight service with options for you to view with the larger UMA who has created services for us. Same thing for the first. And a really special announcement is the connections groups will be forming in January. So look for details in the messenger, and the sign-up sheets are in the back. Now let us begin.
Good morning, and welcome to San Gabriel Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Whether you're here in the sanctuary or watching from home, we're so glad you are here. Whether you're here for the first time or this is your 7th time and counting, you're welcome. My name is Mimi Ray, and I have been a member of San Gabriel since we moved here in 2018. And I am on the membership committee, and I have maybe greeted you when you came in the door in the past. And I'm also a very happy member of a connections group that meets once a month. It's very special to me. And so I urge you, if you're not part of one, we're going to be starting again in January. Sign up. I think there'll be a sign-up sheet next Sunday if it's not back, and we'll get started again. We have wonderful, easy-to-use material that prompts us to think deep. So, San Gabriel is a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association. There are over 1,000 UU congregations in the United States. All of us together are working for a just, peaceful, and sustainable world. Sustaining each other here in the community is the first step down the long road of that important work. If you'd like to know more about us and learn about upcoming events, please go to our website. And of course, the upcoming events are on this paper that you get every Sunday as you come in. Please know that whoever you are and wherever you are from, whomever you love, wherever you are in life's journey, you're welcome here. And now, Jackie is going to lead us on the piano with our hymn. It's in the gray hymnal, number 131, Love Will Guide Us. The words will also be up on the wall behind us. Let us now light our chalice, the symbol of our faith, for the promise of a new day, for the renewal of belonging, for the connection between and beyond all that is, all that was, and all that is yet to come. May our many sparks meet and merge in communion of heart and soul to greet this day.
Our call to worship is just a grounding. So if you are not already comfortable, I invite you now to plant your feet firmly, get in a relaxed meditative state, and leave your worries at the door. Don't think about the doctor's visit you have, or that bill that is due, or those results you're waiting on, or what you read in the news. This is just your opportunity to relax and meditate for 30 seconds. And when you hear the bell, that is your cue to come out of a meditative state. We'll begin now.
Our affirmation is an expression of our covenant that we have with one another. Please read after me the words that will be projected. The doctrine of this church is love. The quest of truth is its sacrament. Service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace. To seek knowledge in freedom. To serve humanity in fellowship. To the end that all souls shall grow in harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with one another. And now here's what we've been waiting for. Corinna has a wonder box.
If there's anyone in the back who would like to come up forward and more closely so they can see better, I need some help figuring out what's inside the Wonder Box this morning. Do you want to come closer and see? There's some clues in here. Let's use our wondering minds to help each other learn and grow, and I would love to hear your guesses from the sounds that this is making as to what might be in here today. Any guesses?
A deck of cards.
A deck of cards. That's a good guess. A candy or candle? A candle. A book? Broken cookies. That's a little loud for that. You have a guess? You want to shout it out? Rocks? A box, another box inside the box, yeah? You want to say it real quick before I open it up? I'm getting ready to open it up. Petrified pie. Petrified pie. A toy. All right, well, let's see. Ooh, it's kind of shiny. It's making some light. Oh. We've had mirrors. I heard lots of oohs from that. I think we've had a mirror in the Wonder Box before. What does this make you think of? You see a mirror. Reflection? My grandson. Your grandson likes mirrors? Snow White. Interesting. The Snow White story. Any other guesses what this means? I guess it's not a guess anymore. We're just talking about what a mirror says to you. What do you think of when you see a mirror? Your grandma? That's great. Okay. Well, today's story, there is a mirror in it. So let's listen to that and see what the story tells us about the mirror.
Happy Right Now by Julie Berry, illustrated by Holly Haddam, published by Sounds True Publishers. I'll be happy when I get a puppy, a unicorn, an ice cream sundae, and a castle with a friendly dragon. Or I can be happy right now. I'll be happy when the clock clicks the last second of the school day on the last Friday before vacation. Or I can be happy right now. I'll be happy when everyone adores me for being brilliant, brave, beautiful, popular, and amazing. Or I can like me right now and be happy just as I am. I'll be happy when the worry monkey gets off my back, my chores are done, and nobody's grumpy. Or I can feed the worry monkey a banana and party with him on a jungle gym. We'll both be happy right now. Why not? I'll be happy when the rainstorm slows, the icicles melt, the clouds leave town, and the sun says, "Come play." Or I can be happy any day, in mittens, in boots, or in soaking wet puddles. Wetter is better anyway. I'll be happy when the sneezing stops. No more sniffles and drips, no coughs, no ick, and I feel better. Or I can be cozy right now and snuggle down for a sleepy snooze. And if it's up to me to choose, why lose time being gray, being blue? All I need to do is be happy right now, whatever the day, whatever the weather. But what about when happy right now is no can do, when the troubles and sadness are much too much, and feeling my feelings is all I can do? Like a long goodbye, or a puffy-eyed cry, or slow sorrows with no good answer to why. Well, that's okay too. I can breathe right now. In is 1, out is 2. Breathe again, fill my belly, let it flow out slowly. Feel my body relax, let my bones turn to jelly. Remember a now that was happy. Breathe. Borrow an old smile from a brighter day. Breathe. Know that happy will find me again soon. Give a hug and get one. Help somebody. Learn something new. Draw a picture, bake a cake, talk it out, let it go. Take a nap. Take two. I'll be happy when I'm hopeful, cheerful, helpful, thankful. Reaching for happy until I can grab it. No dragons required. But I would like a rabbit. The end.
So when did we see the mirror in that story? Where was the mirror? Does anybody remember? It was kind of early on in the story. It was like the second page, yeah. The child was saying, I can be happy right now, and I can look at myself and be happy with who I am right now. It was just a reminder. I think the mirror was really acting like a reminder, and I think that's a good reminder. Reverend Jami chose this story for today's service because they want to talk a little more about the themes that were in the book. So they're going to talk about that. I'm going to go to the back of the room. If other people want to join me back there, we might eventually go outside. We'll decide what we want to do. And I also have lots of things for busy hands in case you would like to work at your seats with those. Thanks.
The other day, I was in a really bad mood. I had too much work to do, I was exhausted, and I couldn't bear dealing with my to-do list, which only increased to every email and meeting, and I have really bad allergies, and it makes everything so much harder. My partner, Natalie, in her infinite wisdom, said we should go on a walk. I do not have time for a walk, Natalie. It's like half an hour, that's gonna take me away from everything, and I'm gonna be even more behind. So at first I was annoyed, but slowly I began to loosen my grip. The frustration and anger melted their way out of my body, and I began to feel a little bit better on our walk. It reminded me of my time in seminary studying under Reverend Dr. Young Chung, who was a professor and also a Korean Buddhist teacher. She would often make us get outside of our body. It was not uncommon for us to go into the quad and meditate for a little while before going into class. Once I asked her, all right, this meditation stuff is fine, but when do we actually begin the work? I'm paying a lot of money to be here. She just smiled at me and said, it began 15 minutes ago when we walked outside. She has taught all over the world and noted that her students in the United States were always the most anxious. She chalked it up to capitalism and developed this long process years ago to get us to unwind so then we could be in like clay and able to be worked with. The Buddha talked about 3 different levels of happiness, she told us. The first is happiness that can come from pleasant experiences, delicious food, nice weather, pleasant music, or any kind of positive sensual experience. These are enjoyable but fleeting. Since all sense experiences change quickly, none can really be relied upon forever. This kind of happiness is fragile. There is nothing wrong with pleasant experiences. We can see what leads to more reliable happiness. But it's almost like you're chasing something that's never going to stay. And it just seems like almost selfish to want to be in that kind of pleasant state all the time. With just a little examination, most of us can see that happiness is in the mind and the heart, not in the nose, eyes, ears, tongue, or body. So the next level that is discovered going beyond the mind, where in meditation we can uncover refined states that bring a deep sense of unity, well-being, and joy. The happiness from these states beats all the sense experiences, even the most exquisite ones. It is more sublime, with an immense sense of ease and peace. When we attain these refined mental states, the things that block our sense of well-being, greed, hatred, fear, temporarily lose their power, which is great. However, these obstacles are not yet totally eradicated. Eventually, when conditions change, they will come back. So this kind of happiness, too, is ultimately fragile, requiring particular conditions to arise. So the highest level of happiness is a deep contentedness and peace beyond all changing circumstances. Through insight and wisdom, the obstacles to happiness can be uprooted from the mind rather than just temporarily suspended. This is the most reliable type of happiness, well-being and ease, unshakable and deeply rooted beyond all conditions, an awakening that brings peace even among the downs of life. We can investigate each kind of happiness for ourselves. We can see what leads to a more reliable happiness. As we expand our access to deeper levels, we develop more bandwidth for caring about others and being of service in the world. We discover that happiness includes cultivation in wholesome states like generosity, kindness, compassion, as well as letting go of fear. As we grow out of orienting around self-serving, we can rest in much greater perspective of spaciousness and caring. We can gradually expand our idea of self to encompass all. So seeking happiness eventually means being of service to all. We will explore this more later in the service.
And I think we're ready for our next hymn. The words again will be up on the wall.
The Buddha taught in Malika Sutta that it is correct to regard yourself as the most precious person in your life. I love how Toni Morrison says in Beloved, you are your own best thing. This doesn't mean we are more important than others. Rather, seeking happiness for ourselves is creating happiness for others. And the reverse is also true. When we strengthen others' happiness, this also benefits us. Is this self-serving? Only in the best sense of the word. Taking good care of ourselves, loving and bringing happiness to ourselves is the foundation for being able to love, care for, and bring happiness to others. The Buddha makes the connection that just as we hold ourselves dear, so do all others. So one who truly loves oneself will not harm others, though in thought we range throughout the world. We'll nowhere find a more dear thing to ourselves than ourself. So since others hold the self so dear, he who loves himself should injure none. Put simply, loving ourselves automatically translates into care and love for others. And if we go further into the psychology of happiness, we will learn it's comprised of 3 components. There's the happiness set point, determined by genetics and other chemicals in the brain, like if you have depression, you will only have a certain level of happiness. The second input is life circumstances, like the job we have or how much money we make. Then finally, there is voluntary activities, things we can control, choices we can make. Taking a walk when you're feeling grumpy falls into this category. Theory has it that 50% of our happiness is dictated by our set point, 10% life circumstances, and 40% intentional activities. So if we can control anywhere from 40 to 50% of our happiness, in theory, what we need is more dopamine hits. The internet is full of advice on how to get more dopamine. Everything from eating more protein to watching cartoons and lots of exercise. It seems like there's a lot of things at everyone's top list. But here's the key. Researchers who have poured through data, including vast medical records and hundreds of in-person interviews and questionnaires, found a strong connection between people flourishing lives and being happy and healthy and their relationships with family, friends, and community. This topped everything, relationships. Several studies found that people's levels of satisfaction with their relationship at age 50 was a better predictor of physical health than their cholesterol levels were. This is a quote from Waldinger, which came from a popular TED Talk about the issue. When we gathered together everything we knew about them, about that, at the age of 50, it wasn't their middle-aged cholesterol levels that predicted how they were going to grow old. It was their relationships. It was how they satisfied how they were in their relationships. The people who were the most satisfied in their relationships at age 50 were the healthiest at age 80. But do you know what increases happiness the most? Doing things in community, which means church is the perfect place to come and get a dopamine hit. We have singing and fellowship literally built into our time together. The people you meet here and the time you spend here will really change your life. Maybe it already has. So if there was ever a time or reason for you to feel encouraged to be here, do it for your future, do it for your health, and most importantly, do it for you.
We take an offering each week to sustain this space that we call home and to support the work of our fellowship. Do I say this now? We're very grateful to Sarah Smith for sharing the song, The Long Black Veil. This song was first recorded in 1959 by country western singer Lefty Frizzell. It's since been covered by countless artists, including Johnny Cash and Dave Matthews. The story tells the story in the song deals with the issue of social stigma, wrongful conviction, and capital punishment. Looking forward to hearing Sarah.
10 years ago, on a cold, dark night, someone was killed 'neath the town hall light. There were few at the scene, but they all did agree. The slayer who ran looked a lot like me. The judge said, "Hun, what is your alibi? If you were somewhere else, then you won't have to die." I spoke not a word, though it meant my life, for I'd been in the arms of my best friend's wife. She walks these hills hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. The scaffold was high and eternity near. She stood in the crowd and shed not a tear. But sometimes at night, when the cold wind moans in a long black veil, she cries o'er my bones. She walks these hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me.
Thank you to Sarah for that. And thanks to our musicians that help lead our hymns, and Jackie and our tech crew, and all the folks that help and spend hours putting on services for us all. Our chalice extinguishing is just a wish and a hope that we are extinguishing the chalice here in our sanctuary, but that the light remains open and lit in your heart. And remember, you're connected to us here. That's all, folks. Feel free to join us for refreshments and fellowship time.